Hello and welcome, students. Welcome to yet another Management Masterclass, a sneak peek in management pedagogy. Continuing a last year initiative by IMS, we bring you another season of Management Masterclass. In our constant endeavor to impart and enhance our students' knowledge, we've conceptualized these sessions so that the students get first-hand experience in B-School pedagogy by expert faculty members on different subjects being offered in an MBA course. These sessions that we planned are akin to actually attending an introductory B-School session on a given topic. It will help you get a gist of an important subject and be equipped in making better selection for your MBA course. So this season, we present a session on 5 secrets of effective digital advertising. Digital advertising is now a flavor of the season. In India, thousands of crores are spent every year on digital marketing. 60 to 70% is spent on digital advertising. But creating an online ad campaign is not as simple as it seems. As an advertiser, we're competing with hundreds of other advertisers who are doing the same thing. How does one break out of this clutter and get noticed by the customers? So here we have some key takeaways that we've had in the session. Key rules for an effective digital marketing campaign. Segmenting customer profile with data. Hands-on experience in building a digital campaign. And to throw more light on this topic, today we have Dr. Pradeep Rachella with us. He's a professor of marketing and a program director at Mahindra University School of Management. He's a digital transformation consultant and trainer and has worked with several multinational firms and startups in India and the United States. Dr. Pradeep is a empaneled visiting professor of the Executive Education Program at the Indian School of Business, XLRI, SPJN Global, Dubai and Singapore, and the Great Lakes Institute of Management. He's worked with the SPJN Global to design digital marketing and metrics PG program, which was launched in Mumbai and subsequently in Dubai. Till 2015, he was a director and the postgraduate programs of the Watson School of Business, Hyderabad. Prior to joining Watson, he was a Jean Edward professor of banking and assistant professor of marketing at the West Texas AM University. He is a PhD in business administration from the Fox School of Business, Temple University. Welcome to this session, sir. And before I hand over the session to Dr. Pradeep, I would like to announce our students, like we had discussed during our promotions, that during the session, sir will be giving a project to the students, and the best prize will get 25% waiver to the tuition fee of Mahindra universities. And there are also certain goodie bags and gifts that our students will be getting during the session. So please enjoy the session and also, put on your smart hats so you can win these goodie bags from Mahindra University. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. And the sad part is we don't get those goodie bags, right? When we do the seminars, we don't get anything. The students only get it. So we keep arguing with our people. So Vikram, I'm hoping you're noting that.
Yes.
Fun of being in student life, I guess.
I know, yeah, the perks of being a student. But yeah, excited to be here. I've always heard about IMS, but never got an opportunity to talk to the students at IMS. So here I am, excited, and we'll start the session. But the session to be lively and interesting, I need just one thing from you. You have to be participative. So when I ask questions, answer them in the chat box. Now, understand that there are no right or wrong answers. Yeah, I mean, there are right answers and wrong answers, but you have to give it a shot. Otherwise, you'll always be stuck in that the hole. Okay. So with that agreement between you and me, let's start the session. Okay. And I'm pretty sure, you have been through quiz programs in your school. I guess part of being in college is you kind of move away from quiz programs and things like that, quiz competitions. So let me take you back to the school days where you used to play quizzes. Okay. I'll ask a few questions and let's see how you're able to answer these questions. All of you see ads like this on a regular basis, right? Every time you open your cell phone or your laptop, you see many, many ads that are thrown at you all the time, right? Now, digital advertisers care about one thing and one thing only, which is whether people, after seeing an ad like this, are they clicking on these ads or not? Because unless somebody clicks on the ad, there is no further action which is of consequence to the advertisers, right? And the technical term that digital advertisers use is click-through rate, right? It's called as CTR. The basic story of CTR is if 100 people have potentially seen an ad, out of that 100, what percentage of people have clicked on the ad? It is basically a percentage. So my first question to the entire group is, what do you think are the click-through rates of the ads that you're seeing on the screen? We have 2 ads, right? Can you guess the click-through rates for these ads? It's a percentage, obviously, so you have to give me a percentage. 10 to 12%, Nilesh, not a bad start, fantastic. More people? You mean 10 to 12% for both of them? I'm showing you 2 ads, right? Okay, 15%, Kanak. Varadaraju said 30%, very optimistic. 20%, somebody said around, fair enough. More answers? Zomato is 20%, okay. The other one is, okay, 15, 20%. Sure, looks like most of you have stayed in that 20 to 30% zone. Hitansh said 5%, okay. Looks like a very cynical person, but I'm okay with that. Airtel ad would be 12, 10%, fair enough, right? Beautiful. Now, you'll be shocked to know that these are the click-through rates. How many of you are shocked to know that these are the click-through rates? I'm pretty sure many of you will be like, what? Really? Really? This is the click-through rate? I am not kidding. These are, in fact, very aggressive click-through rates. In fact, many times when you do digital campaigns, you will see click-through rates as low as 0.3%. And you know why the Zomato ad, somebody mentioned this, but you know why the Zomato ad is 1.4%? It is because there is a 50% off coupon. Without that 50% off coupon, it would not even be close to that. It'll be probably in the 0.3, 0.2, and 0.1 range. That is how bad click-through rates are, right, in the global scenario when it comes to digital advertising. Now, you have to put that in the context of the amount of money, for example, in India, the amount of money that Indian companies spend on digital advertising, right? In the introduction, you were told that it is in the thousands of crores. The actual amount last year that was spent on digital advertising in India is 15,000 crores. Now you can imagine how much companies are spending without any potential return on investment. Crazy numbers, right? Many of you, I'm pretty sure, are shocked to know this, but this is the reality. Let me ask you one more question and see, right, whether you're able to think, right? Put your thinking cap on. All of you use search engines a lot, practically for everything. Any question in your life, the most common thing that you do is, whip out your cell phone or, right? Yeah. So let me ask this question. What are the top 3 search engines in the world? You cannot Google it. We'll keep the honor code. Opera, Chrome, and Firefox is one answer. Fair enough, Hitansh. Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo. Okay. Safari. I didn't know that Safari is a search engine, but I'm fair with that. Okay. Okay. Wikipedia. Very interesting. Chrome, Baidu, and Bing. Superno said Bing. I need 3. I need the top 3 search engines. Google, Safari, Wikipedia. Very interesting. Okay. Google for sure. Microsoft Edge. Chrome, Firefox. I'm not asking about browsers, by the way. I'm asking about search engines. Let me give you a clue. You're nowhere closer. You're nowhere closer. Chat GPT, yeah? Fair enough. Yeah, well, Chat GPT is now, everybody is talking about it. But if I tell you the answer, you'll be again like, oh, really? That's impossible, right? The top 3 search engines in the world today, Google for sure, it has 80% market share in search. The second most used search engine is YouTube. And the third most used search engine, anybody can guess now? I've given you the second clue. Google 80%, immediately close. Okay, at least you're thinking right, Julian. The answer is Amazon. And now, if you actually talk about search for products, Amazon becomes the second most search engine. Again, shocking statistic. But if you think about it, how many of you go to YouTube and search for videos when you are doubtful about something? Many of you do that, right? Yeah, absolutely. Because we realize that instead of reading a big article on something, I might as well just watch a nice 5-minute video and all the doubts are basically cleared in my head. Same thing, if you want to buy something, even if you decide to buy something in a mall or a shop, you'll first do some research on Amazon. Because in Amazon, there are photos, there are reviews, there is so much more information about the products that you typically don't get in a store or any other website. And now you understand why Google, YouTube, and Amazon are the top 3 most used search engines. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. But in fact, there was an article in 2021 in Economic Times. If you ask Google people today, what do they fear the most, right? They actually don't fear ChatGPT. They fear Amazon, because even Amazon is now getting into digital advertising and keywords and all that stuff, on which Google makes hundreds of billions of dollars. And now Amazon is slowly encroaching upon their space. And that is why this article in Economic Times and Times of India. Shocking, right? Many of you did not guess it right, but that's because you're not thinking from the angle of the customers. You're basically thinking, when I said, what are the top 3 search engines? You basically gave me answers about search engines, but customers don't care whether it is a search engine or not. What customers care about is, I have a doubt in my head. I need answers to it. I will use whatever it takes to find answers. They don't care whether it is a search engine or a browser or an e-commerce site and so on and so forth. Right? But good. I'm very happy that you're answering. So let's continue the spirit. Now, the third question is a little bit tougher. You need a little more thinking. Yes. Obviously, you're not into your MBA, but doesn't matter. This requires more logic than MBA. And let me see if you can answer this. Okay, the story is very simple. I have a connection on LinkedIn. Very smart guy. He has an MBA from one of the top 4 business schools in the country. Very successful. He runs a huge digital advertising company. And I like him, but the problem with him is every other day, he keeps bragging on LinkedIn, saying that, oh, I did this awesome campaign, and so on and so forth. And he not only brags, but he actually posts, right, screenshots of these so-called successful campaigns, right? But anyway, it's good because, there is data to talk about. So right on the screen, I actually copied one of his posts on LinkedIn and pasted it on the screen. Here, he brags about a campaign that he did for an e-commerce company. Okay. And he's showing the results. Of course, focus more on the red, blue, green, which is the Google ad campaign that he did for that company. And then these are the results. And he said, my client is very happy because I did this awesome campaign, and hence you should also follow me and then maybe, become my customer. That's basically his claim on LinkedIn, right? Spend about half a minute on this. Okay. Tell me if this, in your opinion, is a successful campaign or not, a digital advertising campaign that this guy ran. Now, mind you, not a dumb guy, very successful, makes a lot of money, has an MBA from, as I said, one of the top 4 business schools in the country, incredibly sharp, incredibly accomplished. But all that doesn't matter. You tell me whether this campaign is good or not. Would you hire this guy for your company? These are the clicks, obviously. CPC is the average amount of money that this company spent on each click from the customer. This is the total cost of the campaign, 5,39,000. And this is the total volume of revenues or purchases that this company got, which is 25 lakhs, basically $2.5 million rupees, right? Okay, Rohit is saying, yes, sir, I think it is probably a good campaign. Fair enough. What about the others? If you were owning an e-commerce company, would you hire this guy to run your digital campaigns? Khushi is saying no. Okay. What is the number of impressions? Well, at this point, we don't care about impressions because we are directly talking about clicks. Impressions comes before clicks. Now that we are directly talking about clicks, impressions don't matter. That's how you look at it. Okay, Kanak is saying no. Okay, I have two yeses and two no's so far. More answers? This is where you start putting your critical thinking caps on. Good campaign, bad campaign. Would you hire this guy? Everybody has become silent. I need more answers. Okay, one more shot before we move on. Okay, Varadaraju is saying yes, building customer awareness and sales boost by ad and media. Yes, yes, many yeses, right? Fantastic. As I said, you don't have a background in this topic. So obviously, I don't expect you to, fully analyze what is on the screen. But if I were an e-commerce company, I will not hire this guy. Now, you may say, what? Why? Because for getting 25 lakhs in revenue, this guy spent 5.5 lakhs of clients' money. Now, you have to understand, if I'm pretty sure some of you come from an accounting background, all of you know, or at least must have heard of the term called as cost of goods sold. E-commerce companies basically don't make their own products. They sell somebody else's products. And what happens is, for example, let's say you talk about Amazon or Flipkart. For every 100 rupees worth of goods that Amazon or Flipkart sells, they make about 5 to 10% on that money, which is what they call as commission. Okay. Now, if you look at it, let's say, 10% is very high. Okay. Let's say it's 10%. What is the total actual revenue that this company got from this campaign? It is not 25 lakhs. It is only 2.5 lakhs. Even if I increase that by 15%, which sometimes Amazon and Flipkart charge for certain products, right? I'm basically talking about total revenue that is coming into the pocket of this company, which is actually not more than 3 lakhs. So basically, for 3 lakhs worth of money that this company made, they spent 5.5 lakhs for advertising. Now you tell me, is that a good campaign or a bad campaign? You don't need an MBA degree to answer that, right? It is actually a bad campaign because you're spending a lot more just on advertising to get much lesser money, right? So in that sense, your marketing expenses are much more than the money that you're making, which is a terrible business from any perspective. Absolutely. Right? But the reason I'm asking these questions, right? You must be wondering why I'm playing this quiz with you, is that you will be surprised to know that despite Indian companies spending close to 15,000 crores per year on advertising, there are still, I would say, 80% of senior executives in marketing who still don't understand digital very well, right? For them, digital is as simple as putting some random ad on a platform like Facebook or Instagram or something, hoping that there will be a lot of impressions and some clicks and some revenue and stuff like that. And as long as something happens, they're very happy, but they don't really think through the entire story of what does it take to build a good digital campaign, right? And today, digital advertising is slowly taking over advertising in many companies. Sure, it is still a smaller percentage. For example, if you do a survey of Indian companies, you'll probably see that digital advertising accounts for 20% of the total advertising spend. But what you're seeing is that spend is increasing year by at least 5 to 10%. So very soon, probably within about 5 to 7 years, you will see that digital and traditional advertising, the percentage will become 50 and 50. Now that is a very high number if you think about it. But to succeed in that field, you need to think through the entire story. It is not as simple as just putting ads on Facebook or Twitter or Google or something like that. And that is what we will discuss in a nutshell today. The goal of my presentation today is simple. You need to appreciate this because many of your MBA aspirants, we live in a world of advertising clutter. There was a study done by Harvard about 3-4 years ago. And what they found is, on an average, a person living in an urban area, right, in any part of the world, especially we're talking about, the developing nations and the developed nations, on average, get bombarded by 2,000 marketing messages in a day. right? Now, think of it. Let that number sink in. 2,000 marketing messages. Now, what happens when we are overloaded with information? When we are overloaded with information, we basically start ignoring a lot of it and taking only that which we feel is necessary for our well-being. And that's the reason why you see such terrible click-through rates. Because many companies, what they do is they just keep dumping ads on customers, hoping that somebody will click on something. But what customers are doing now is they are ignoring even more and more of these messages. And because of that, you see terrible results from digital marketing campaigns. Whereas if you look at successful companies, what you realize is they follow 5 very important yet simple principles that are needed to make a good digital advertising strategy. And I will quickly take you through those 5 simple yet important rules of digital advertising as it stands today. You need to make sure, one of the most important things is you need to make sure that you need to get the segmentation right. Now, what exactly do I mean by segmentation? The story is simple. The typical mistake that advertisers do is they'll build one ad or maybe 1 or 2 ads, and they'll just plaster the entire internet, all the platforms, including LinkedIn, Google, Facebook, blah, 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 with the same ad. What they're hoping is that somebody who's interested in that product will see that ad and click on it. The problem with that approach is that if you take a group of 100 customers, you will see that within that group of 100 customers, you can actually make subgroups of customers. And each group behaves differently. Each group has a different background. And because of that background and psychology and so on, the way they respond to ads and products and services is also different. Let me give you a very interesting example. All of you know Make My Trip. I'm pretty sure some of you have used Make My Trip. There's a company like that in US called Expedia. It's a very famous company in US, right? It's basically called as an online travel platform, right? And this particular case became very famous because it came in news as well. An analyst who was looking at data and behind the scenes at Expedia found something very interesting. What he found, and Expedia is the place where you go and you book hotels and restaurants and all that stuff, airlines, rental cars, and so on, right? What this analyst found is that people who log in from Mac or iPhone end up booking much more expensive hotels than people who log in into the same website from PCs. Actually, if you think about it, it's a very simple segmentation, right? But that's exactly how it is. I'm pretty sure there are some people in this room who own Macs, and you probably feel differently than somebody who's using a PC. It's not because of the laptop that you're using. It's more of the way you arrive at your life or the way you approach your life, and that ultimately leads to all these different behaviors. So what this company did, this guy's manager, he said, you know what, let's try a simple experiment. So what they did was they created 2 different versions of the website. Basically, what would happen is if a customer is logging in from a Mac or an iPhone, the website that would be shown for this customer would be different. In this website, the top 5 hotels that were shown to this customer were of the more expensive type in any particular city, right? And the same, different website, if a different customer is logging in from a PC, the same city, the whole thing would be flipped. Now, cheaper hotels would be shown at the top and more expensive hotels would be shown at the bottom. And they ran this experiment for 15 days. And what they found is on average, just by making this small segmentation exercise, which is try and separate groups of customers based on their behavior, they were making a profit of $100 more per hotel than what they were doing if they were just showing a simple website to all the customers logging in from any device. Interesting, if you think about it. But that's basically what we call as segmentation. You need to understand who your customers are. Number one, you need to understand their qualities. Who are they? Where do they come from? Where do they live? What is their age? How do they behave? and more importantly, their psychology. What are their biases, right? How do they think about your products and services? Because all of these put together, you're able to now create a profile of customers, right? And then you're able to target them with the right kind of ad messaging or strategy. That, I believe, is probably one of the most important steps in creating a good digital advertising strategy. The next step, once you decide on the segment, is now you need to select the appeal for your ad. Now, what do I mean by an appeal? An appeal is what exactly is the type of message that you want to put in front of the customer. Now, typically, you will see that companies will use one or the other type of appeals. One is what we call as an emotional appeal. The other one is what we call as a rational appeal. Emotional speaks to the heart. Rational speaks to the mind, if I were to simplify it. One of my favorite campaigns in the recent past, I'm pretty sure some of you may have seen this, is the kind of digital ads campaign that Cadbury's ran during Diwali time during the pandemic. What they discussed internally is they realized that every other chocolate company, including Nestle and Hindustan Unilever, all those guys, right? Everyone is basically doing the same thing, right? Same types of ads saying, hey, it is Diwali, right? Buy something awesome for your family or your neighbor and all that stuff. But they realized that since everybody is doing the same thing, the message is not really getting through to the customer. So how does Cadbury stand out? Here's basically what they did. Instead of me talking about it, let me show you the video and then you'll understand.
Big businesses and brands that suffered during the pandemic found their way back, but the smaller stores still suffer.
This lockdown has been a real tough phase of my life. I mean, I have seen bad days, but this was the worst.
Last year, we helped small businesses through Diwali. So this year, we decided to bring it back. Presenting not just a Cadbury ad. This Diwali, we helped hundreds of small businesses by making India's biggest brand ambassador be their brand ambassador.
इस दिवाली आप भी ना अपने पास वाले फैशन ऑफ एम्पोरियम से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना और फिर एम्पायर फुटवेयर नाम तो सुना होगा अपना स्टाइलिश चश्मा बगल वाले हेवन आई ऑप्टिशियन से ही लेना सिद्धि विनायक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स से लेटेस्ट स्मार्टफोन खरीदकर धमाकेदार सेल्फी पोस्ट करना
क्या कर रहे हो मीठा लाए कि नहीं
लाया हो ना यार अपने पास वाले रोशन किराना से आप भी अपना मीठा वहीं से लेना
We used machine learning to recreate Shah Rukh Khan's face and voice to take the local store names in the ads.
इस दिवाली आप भी ना अपने पास वाली चॉइस ऑफ फैशन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना पास वाले आजकल फैशन से ही रॉयल फैशन से ही एमके क्लॉथ्स से ही पास वाली लक्ष्मी कलेक्शन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना इस दिवाली आप भी ना अपने पास
Different versions of the same ad with local store names were targeted as per the PIN code of the viewer, showing them only the nearby stores. But it is impossible to cover all the stores. So we gave the power to the people to create their own version of not just a Cadbury ad. Any small business owner could promote their stores through their own social media networks like WhatsApp forwards and other social media pages.
शाहरुख खान मेरी दुकान गाइड करें
हमारे आसपास की जो दुकानें हैं उनकी दिवाली भी तो मीठी होनी चाहिए
Cadbury celebrations, not just a Cadbury ad.
What do you think? Awesome campaign, right? Now compare this with the typical types of ads that you see on the internet day in and day out. How boring are they? And then how interactive is this? Now, is there anything about the product here? Nothing. It's not like the ad is saying Cadbury's chocolate is the best or it's made with the best ingredients. It doesn't matter because the idea is it's an emotional appeal. It is about connecting Cadbury's with the local small businesses, with the customer. And imagine the amount of excitement, the amount of interaction that this kind of a campaign creates. right? And if you think about it, it's not like they created something out of thin air. This kind of technology is available to everyone, but what it means is you have thought through, in the sense that Cadbury's actually thought through this entire process and said, hey, let's get emotionally closer to the customer, and then sales will automatically happen. And this is what I mean by a good emotional interactive appeal using a digital platform. On the other hand, there are companies that basically use a rational appeal. It also depends on the kind of product you're selling. For example, see this ad.
Air pollution is as much a problem inside as it is outside, because the worst pollution isn't seen but unseen. The air inside your home could be much worse without you even knowing it, leading to dust allergies, breathing issues and asthma that leaves kids especially vulnerable. Introducing the all-new Me Smart Air Purifier 3 with a 22% improved performance, with a true HEPA filter that eliminates 99.97% of pollutants in the air. A 3-layer composite filtration lined with activated carbon effectively removes pollutants, PM 2.5, odor, and harmful bacteria. Precise laser particle sensor detects air quality and sets up automatically. Simply touch to switch between modes.
Right, as you can see, huge difference between this appeal versus the Cadbury's ad. Here, it's all about the science. It is all about the data. It is all about the cool, gadgets and all the different features. Because for this particular type of product, the company realizes that they need to make a rational appeal to the customer, because somebody who's thinking of buying an air filter at home would want to know why they should buy this air filter. Whereas somebody who's thinking much more about buying chocolates or thinking about Cadbury's as a brand would be thinking about from a much more emotional angle rather than a rational perspective, right? So as you can see, you need to decide this appeal depending on the kind of customer you're targeting and also the kind of product that you're selling. And I believe that that's very important step in this entire process. The fourth rule today is, if you look at the landscape of digital today, and if you look at your own behavior, if I ask you, how much time do you spend with your mobile phone on a daily basis? I'm pretty sure you never think about that question. But if I were to actually ask you and say, can you tell me the number of hours that you spend with your cell phone on a daily basis? And the for 5-6 hours, okay, more 2 hours, right? And that's a lot of time if you think about it. And you're being very, I think Ronit is being very honest. The amount of time that you spend with your cell phone is crazy, right? Because I'm pretty sure in a daily basis, at least 15-20 times you visit your Instagram, at least 10 times you visit your WhatsApp, and then so many other things that keep happening, Google search and all that stuff, right? So it's actually very, very high. If you look at the average, global average is somewhere in that 7 to 10 hour range. What that means is every good company, smart company today realizes that advertising, especially digital advertising, is no longer about laptop. It is all mobile. So going forward, if you want to create good digital campaigns and if you want to engage with the customers, you have to make sure that your digital campaigns are made for mobile phone, they are interactive, and more importantly, they are entertaining, because mobile phone has now become our companion for everything. We use it for education, we use it for information, we use it for entertainment, and there is practically nothing else beyond our mobile phone if you think about it. So from that perspective, what smart companies now do is they realize that their digital advertising has to be mobile, interactive, and entertaining. The campaign I'm going to show you is an award-winning campaign. I'm pretty sure you have heard of this festival called as Cannes Film Festival. It happens in France. And this is a Cannes award-winning campaign for mobile interactive advertising. Watch it and then tell me what you think of this.
Psst. Hey, you, Judge. You don't want to watch another case study video. They're boring. Go to Old Spice's Instagram instead and find this post. It's so cool. Seriously, you should just go do it. It's a choose-your-own sci-fi adventure where you die like 100 times. See? Click the tags and it's like, go this way or do this thing. Go try it right now. It was the most successful Instagram Old Spice has done so far. People seemed to really like it. The captions were real funny. Oh no, you succumbed to branding so quickly. A marketing researcher grabs you and you're never heard from again. Why didn't you explore more of the branding experience? Go back. Okay. See? It's like one of those choose your own adventure books. Here's another one. You defeat the beast, but you're quickly overrun by guilt. You reluctantly agree to provide for its entire family, which includes 7 widows and 9,000 larvae. What? You live out the rest of your life as a vacant but loving stepdad. Oh man. There are about 20 different adventures. He dies a ton. Here's the whole thing if you're too busy. Hopefully you can zoom in and enhance. Can you see it?
You could push pause. You have plenty of time. Or we can just skip to the end.
Oh no, illustrators are expensive. We ran out of money. What? What a dumb ending.
What do you think? If you came across an ad like this, how much time do you think, you will spend playing with this whole thing? Honestly. A lot of time, right? At least 20 minutes, because you want to make sure that there is some element of fun, right? And you will probably finish at least 2 to 3 adventures before you end up, putting your phone down. Now, that's the fun part. One, this campaign, if you think about it, specifically made for mobile. Number 2, it is interactive. And what happens because of interactive versus one-way type of advertising is interactive means now the customer is talking to the ad. Whereas if I see an ad which is just telling me something, I'll basically zoom out. Whereas if I'm playing with the ad, if I'm interacting with the ad, the amount of relationship I'm building with the brand goes much higher. And smart companies realize that. And if you are a smart digital advertiser, even you should be thinking about it. It is not about how many ads you throw out there. Even if it is one ad, if you're able to make your customers interact with the ad, the amount of brand, equity that you build will be at least 100 times higher than just putting a video out there and hoping that the customer will watch it. That's the idea behind what I mean by mobile, interactive, and entertaining. Then, one big rule that you have to keep in mind is today, digital advertising, and you will, when you analyze your own behavior, you'll probably realize that it has to be useful and educational. Yes, entertaining, but it also has to add some value. For example, I'm pretty sure many of you have seen this Philadelphia cream cheese, which is very famous. It's kind of a cheese that you use for all kinds of, you can put it on bread and eat it. You can bake cakes with it. It's actually pretty tasty. If you come across it, eat it. I'm showing you 2 different ads for Philadelphia cream cheese, right? How many of you will click on the one on the left and how many of you will click on the one on the right? Fair enough. Right? Obviously, a majority are thinking of right. Why do you want to click on the right and why are the ones who are clicking on the left? More info provided, yes. More appealing, more informative, right? Fantastic. Now, the first thing I've done, is I've basically now shown you what segmentation is. Now, in this class of 30, about half will click on the ad with recipes, and the other half will click on the ad with more information, right? Now, that is exactly what I mean by segmentation, by the way, right? Fundamentally, if I look at from 50,000 feet, all of you might look the same to me, but then deep down in your behavior, you have basically split into half, one on the left and one on the right, right? But more importantly, what you have to understand is now that I understand that there are these segments, I also need to understand what they will feel is more educational. For example, those who want to click on the ad with the recipes, basically say, you know what, I know enough about Philadelphia cream cheese. What I need to do is what can I make with it? So if you are in that segment, I should be showing you the ad with more recipes. Whereas those of you who have decided to click on the other one, which is more about information about the product, because you believe that all that information is necessary for you to take a good call, whether to buy this product or not, I should be showing you the ad with more information, technical information, right? Both these ads are right. But what I'm trying to tell you is if I don't understand my customers and what they find educationally useful, what I'll do is I'll just make one simple ad and throw it to all 30 of you. And that means the effectiveness of the ad basically goes down. Right? So before you arrive at the point where you put this ad out there, you need to have a true deep understanding of the customers, and more importantly, understand what they feel is educational and useful, because instinctively we as customers, we click on online ads which we believe are helpful to us in terms of our purchasing journey or making our life easier and so on and so forth. Does it make sense? Right? Awesome. Now, if all of you are following me, let me see. Ronit is saying we can go like page 1 right, page 2 left image. Yeah, you can. You can experiment. That's the beauty of digital. Unlike TV and radio, you can actually play with the different types of formats, move things around. Those are all the beauty, all the flexibilities that digital advertising gives you. But even to get there, right, you cannot be random. You have to plan. And that's exactly what I was talking about. Okay, beautiful. Now, if you are following me and if you're truly listening to me, there is something off with my presentation so far. Can you point out what that is? Anybody who can point out to me what is off with my presentation so far? Yeah, right. So these guys are following. Okay, that's good. Because this is a trick question. Absolutely. All of you are right, at least the three, if you can note down the names, Vikram.
Yes,
You're
I have.
right. I started with step 2 and I moved till step 5. And then at least those of you who are paying attention, you should have asked me the question, sir, but where is step 1? What is this weirdness? Why did you start from step 2? Partly it's a trick question. I just wanted to check, right? Yeah. But what we did so far is so many good things. But the most important step in creating a good digital campaign, in my personal experience as a consultant and working with so many companies, I can guarantee you that this is the step that they think about the least. And this is where most companies go wrong. You know what that step is? They don't think about business objectives. Most of the time, when companies think of digital advertising campaigns, they're thinking about impressions, they're thinking about something else and something else, what we call as vanity metrics. But the problem is impressions doesn't mean business. And just because, first of all, you don't know what impressions are, right? And second thing is, a lot of impressions doesn't mean anything, because ultimately there are so many things that have to happen after impressions. And many companies don't give a clear thought as to what exactly are the business objectives of the digital campaign. And there could be different types of business objectives, right? So the first question you have to ask, and this is a business question rather than a creative question, is what exactly do you want to achieve with this campaign? That is, right? Do you want to increase brand awareness? Do you want to, build visits to the website? Do you want the customers to purchase a product, or do you want them to share, right? For example, I've shown you different kinds of ads, right? I'm showing you them again on the screen. What could be the potential business objective that you could easily achieve with the Zomato ad? Anyone willing to take a shot? Since I've given you examples. For the Zomato ad, what could be the potential business objective that you can, that you can achieve? Zomato is basically sales, right? If you are trying to build brand awareness, you would never use a coupon, especially a 50% coupon, because the idea is 50% coupon is I want to spur purchase in the next minute. Somebody who's sitting on the fence, are pizza khayenge, nahi khayenge. The moment they see 50% off, they're like, "Arey yaar, 50% off chal raha hai. Chalo Zomato jaake pizza kharidte hain." And that is purely about increasing sales. Now, on the other hand, right? Yeah. Yes, it can also mean shares. What about the Cadbury's ad? What do you think would be the potential objective of the Cadbury's ad? Beautiful. It is more about brand awareness and possibly visits to the website, right? Because there is nothing there that says, go buy Cadbury's chocolates. There is nothing there which says, the latest Diwali hamper is 10% off. The whole point is, I want to make Cadbury's ad sit in the mind of the customer as an emotional brand. Okay. Now, whether that drives sales or not, I don't care, because at this point, it is more about brand awareness and brand equity. Right? Absolutely. So you understand the point I'm trying to make, which is, unless you discuss this upfront, you'll be confused in terms of what kind of ad, what kind of appeal, what kind of information. All of that follows this particular slide, which is, I need to have a very specific business objective. And that, I believe, is the most important first step in creating a good digital campaign. Right? So what I've done is, I have broadly given you the typical problems that companies face when it comes to, or mistakes that companies do when it comes to digital advertising. And then I've given you the 5 important steps/rules to keep in mind to create a good digital campaign. So here's what I want you guys to do. I have basically given you 5 tips or 5 important steps that you need to take to build a good digital campaign. So now I'm going to give you a task and see if you're able to do that. Basically, I want you to build a good digital campaign for a particular business, right? I have picked 2 businesses so that there's no confusion. One is a chain of bakeries in Hyderabad. We belong to Hyderabad, so I go there regularly. It's called Lebanel. You can go to the website and check out the website and, the business and all that stuff. The other one is a New Delhi-based organic bakery, right? And it is also equally famous. A lot of people go there. I've been there. Their salads are really good. You can choose one of these businesses. Imagine that you are the digital marketer for one of these businesses. So first step, pick one business. And then go through the 5 steps of creating a good digital campaign, right? 1 is obviously step 1. What is your business objective? What do you want to achieve with that campaign? 2, what are your segments? 3, what is your appeal? Is it emotional or rational? Then 4 is, what is your ad strategy? Do you want to make it interactive or something else? And I actually want to see an ad copy of that in your PowerPoint presentation. Now, we'll give you a deadline of Monday evening, 6 o'clock. Before that, if you can share your presentation needs to have, if you're doing it in a team or individually, that's completely your choice. But these are the slides that I need to see. Title slide, obviously it should look good. If you're a team or individual, put your name there, make sure your first and last name is there. Slide 1, your key business objective that you want to achieve with the campaign. Slide 2, segmentation, right? Which customer segment do you want to go after? Slide 3, your appeal, whether it's emotional or rational, and why. You need to give a brief logic as to why you want to go with an emotional appeal or a rational appeal. Slide 4 is your ad strategy, which is, do you want to make it interactive, something else, informative, whatever you want to put there. And then final slide is, I would like to see the ad there. So you also need to get creative. So in this small presentation, you're getting an opportunity to think like a scientist, think like a business person, but also think from a creative perspective. Okay. If you're able to do this presentation and send it to us, we will evaluate it. And Vikram, you can announce the prizes for them to motivate them a bit.
Yes. Thank you, Professor. Hi, I'm Vikram. I head the MBA admissions in Mahindra University. So we have exciting gifts for the lucky winners. Some of them will get goodie bags, and we also have a 25% tuition fees waiver for our MBA program.
So let me just quickly give you, for example, segmentation is not an easy topic. I teach executive MBA students, and even they struggle to understand the concept. How would I segment? Right? For example, here, these are the variables that I'm using to segment a market for my bakery. Age between 80 and 40. By the way, that's a terrible thing. You should always reduce the age range. market, product, gender, location, perception. For example, I'm targeting people who want to use healthy, handmade, but traditional breakfast items, right? These are not the people who probably eat a salad for breakfast, right? And then, what is their income status? How much money are they making? All of this will mean that the kind of people I'm targeting and what I'm saying in the ad, it will be radically different. Just to give you an example, if I'm talking about a traditional person who's not into salads and stuff, but still wants to eat healthy, right? What will I say in my ad? That'll be totally different from if I'm targeting a person who's living in an urban high rise, very posh, travels internationally, eats salads and, healthy foods, and does not eat traditional food. So my ad, the photos, the appeal, everything will be different from person 1 to person 2 or segment 1 to segment 2, right? So all of these, as I said, everything will depend on how well you understand your segments and how well you segment the market. And this is how I want you to think. Of course, you're all preparing to get into MBA programs. So at some point you learn a lot of this, but why not start today? Maybe you can impress your professor in your MBA program saying, sir, we already know this. That'll be fun.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pradeep. It is, I'm sure the students have gotten a lot of insights, and you've made it so interesting that we all had fun listening. It just seemed so interactive and so much fun, and we got to learn a lot of new things from you. Thank you for a great session. I hope the students also enjoyed it. And it's a very interesting project that you've given them, and we hope to get a lot of response from the students and some very interesting ad campaigns that we'll get to see. So thank you once again for being a part of the session, and hoping to see you soon again.
My pleasure, and thank you for hosting me, and thanks everyone for being here. I look forward to seeing some awesome ad campaigns. And let's see who gets the goodie bags. Somebody said, so a tough question gets a goodie bag, is it? Yeah, maybe, but I'll let Vikram decide that. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, everyone. And
thank you, everyone.